Okay, and then Rachel is not feeling well, so I'm going to go ahead and do recognition already. So can you see the screen? Yes. All right, so it is Monday, November 8th, and we have already helped 28 people so far for November, which is awesome. Jessica Warren with 4 points, Leah Lively with 2, Laura with 4, Angela Waters with 6. Actually, Laura Simon is on there twice, but I think she's already hit Success Club. Congrats, girlfriend. Trish Brumley with 2, Sarah Thomas with 2, Julie with 2, and Dakota with 2. Congratulations to people on points on the board. That's exciting. First week in November. New Emeralds, want to make sure that we recognize Becca Bergens, Nicole, Casey, and Stephanie. And then we have a new lifetime diamond, meaning she is held for 6 consecutive weeks, which means she's actually a very strong diamond, and that is Erica Odell. Congratulations, girlfriend. I'm super pumped for you. And then Angela Waters is in week 5 of 6, meaning this Thursday, she will be our first, I think, of 2021 2-star diamond coach, which is the rank that is a game changer in really helping you build that income over time. And then we have success starters. Becca is a month 1 success starter, so congrats, girlfriend. 2 more months. That will not only get you a free ticket to our annual summit next July in St. Louis, but it will also get you invited to a test group so that you get to try out one of the first programs that we have. I know that we have a few coaches in the test group right now for job 1. Super, super excited for that. So that is it for recognition. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to hand it over to Miss Angela Waters, who is going to teach us how to be our own hype girls and gals. All right, Miss Angela, get it, girlfriend.
Yay! It's so funny. Just got out of the shower like 15 minutes ago. I'm doing my hair, putting on makeup. It's literally 9 p.m. here. Kids are coming home from sports. My husband is in bed, and I'm like putting my makeup on like it's, 6 o'clock in the morning. All right, so let me share my screen. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put it in presentation mode. All right, can you still see it? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so tonight's all about being your own hype girl, getting yourself, and boy, getting yourself unstuck and then keeping yourself going once you feel like you are unstuck. Now, my disclaimer, because I get this, oh, well, I'm not like you. Like, I can't do, I see what you do to hype yourself up, get excited. I'm not like you. I don't think that way. I don't act that way. I'm not like that. But I'm here to tell you, I was not like that either. I was not naturally a positive, motivated person on my own. So I had read research way back in the day that 95% of the humans in this world are not self-motivated, not self-disciplined. Only 5% of the world is. I definitely fell in the 95%. So please do not think I am one of those 5%ers. I need you to know that I was a negative thinker, scarcity mindset to the max, pessimist, glass half empty all the time kind of girl. And when I got stuck, I got super stuck. So I was an all or nothing girl as well. So when I got stuck, I would get into that figurative, deep, dark hole. And I would not only stay there for weeks, I would usually stay there for months. And my eyes get all teary because it was a really bad place to be. I was always waiting for some external force or someone else to come along and motivate me, inspire me, and pull me out of my hole. While I was in that hole, I would definitely not be working out, although I wasn't really working out anyway. I would eat more crap than I normally would. I would, if I could catch sleep during the day, whether I was tired or not, I would, just because I wouldn't have to face reality. And where I was in this deep, dark hole. It could get really bad. But I've come to find out 3 things since I started taking on this healthy mindset approach and being a coach and being a challenger myself and taking on all these healthy habits. 3 different things. You cannot give power to the victim of circumstance mentality. So what does that mean? You can't wait until someone or something comes along to change where you are, to get you unstuck, to make you feel better. If you're waiting for someone else or some kind of event coming up, so for example, maybe before Summit last summer, maybe in June or May, you're like, you know what, I'm just kind of feeling stuck. I'm going to wait till Summit comes. That's going to give me the energy and the drive and the excitement I need to rebuild my business or to restart my business or to get going again. So you were putting your circumstance, you were waiting for Summit to come to change your stuckness. You're going to be waiting a long time if you think an event or a person is going to give you that push to get out of that stuck where you don't fall right back into it on your own. Number 2, getting unstuck isn't feeling better or successfully changing. It's not about that. It's actually just taking the first step towards changes. So I guess we put all this pressure on ourselves. Oh God, I got to become unstuck. And you still call yourself stuck until you feel completely successful with something else. And that's not it. It's just taking that first step out of that getting unstuck. It's actually more important. I was just listening to another podcast today. It's actually more important to get unstuck than it is to feel better first. Of course, we want both. Of course, you want to feel better, but you have to get unstuck before you can feel better or see success. And number 3, people who experience success are just the people who have mastered the art of getting back up or getting unstuck. All right, so I know this is going to sound crazy, but I've got 16 things for you. Y'all know I can talk fast, so you better write fast because I'm going through these really fast, or just screenshot, take pictures, do whatever you got to do, because I was determined. I'm like, okay, which ones do I take out? I'm like, I can't take any of these out. So you're going to have to slow this down when you watch the replay in order to get it all, but take what you can. All right. So number 1, use your struggles to grow you. I know it sounds so cliche, like, oh, you're going to grow through this. You're going to be a better person, but it's true, you guys. Every single time you struggle, you come out better on the other side. You've got to focus on your experience of actually being stuck. I know, who wants to focus on the suckiness of sitting in that yuck, in that crap, that place where you are, where you're stuck.
Hey, so sorry to interrupt you. Your slide is still on the intro slide. Is that where it should be?
No.
Okay, I'm seeing that in the chat. So I just wanted to pop in. It's still showing slide 1.
All right, let me stop share. Thanks. Let's try that again. Let's see. Okay, let's try. I'm going to let's just do the whole dang desktop. Then we won't make sure we get it. Are we on number 1?
Correct. Good to go now.
Yay. Okay, good. I don't know how I did it, but number 1, use your success or use your struggles to grow you. Focus on the experience of being stuck. I know it sounds crappy to sit there and focus on it instead of just being like, let's get the heck out. But guys, you have to arrive at a place before you can leave it. I heard that on a TED Talk by Terry Singh, and he said you have to arrive at the place first, fully be in it before you can leave it. Because if you leave it before you fully embraced it and understood it while you're there, you're just going to end up in that same place again. So you've got to, unfortunately, you've got to unpack it. My team hears me say it all the time. If they come to me and they say, they're having this problem or that problem, they're struggling or they're stuck, I say, okay, let's unpack this. Because you have to unpack it. I'm not just going to give you all these great fun ways to get yourself unstuck unless we unpack it first. You've got to make sense of it, typo right there, and learn and grow from it. So for example, Raquel can tell you, I sent one of my very long voice texts that I sent her. If you're one of the lucky recipients, it's like I call it the Angela Waters podcast. And so I got on there one day and I said, oh God, am I stuck? Like I am stuck. Like I'm eating all the things. I'm pushing my workout till 8 p.m. at night. I am not getting up early in the morning. I'm not reading my PD. I'm not. Like I knew all the things I wasn't doing, but I felt so dang stuck. I could not figure out how to get myself out of it. And I realized that I had to actually just focus on where I was, the thoughts I was thinking, in order to move on. So I'm going to give you some observation techniques that you can use when you are stuck and questions you can ask yourself so that you can start to become unstuck. So my observation questions were, what was I thinking? Was it a lot of different thoughts, or was it just one continuous thought? And if it was more than one thought, which thought was most prominent? What kept coming up over and over and over? What behaviors or routines was I doing or not doing? What physical sensations, like what was your body feeling during this time? Because I kept texting Chad and I was like, I feel anxious, I feel anxious, I feel anxious. But anxious to me is very different than what anxious to him means, and how it shows up and how it presents itself to each person. And think about your emotions. Is there an intensity of your emotions? And if they are, what are they? What are the emotions focused on? What outside forces in terms of a person or an event or timing? You have to use that all as data. So you can't beat yourself up when you're observing these things about your stuckness. You just have to use it as data to actually help you to grow through this struggle and to become unstuck. So I call it coming to Jesus moments. And so I had my coming to Jesus moment where I was like, all right, get your ass out of bed. You're going to the mirror and you're going to have a freaking conversation with yourself. And I know it sounds ridiculous and kind of crazy, but it's the only way I can become unstuck is to literally have a conversation with myself. And that was my coming to Jesus moment last month. And I did the Mel Robbins 5-second rule and started taking action. I was so sick of my own crap and feeling stuck. And then I had to use that struggle to share with others. And I will tell you, last month, I really struggled with conversations. I really struggled to make new connections. I really struggled with anyone even reaching out to hear more. And, you know, I would put up that poll button and no one was clicking it anymore. And I felt so stuck. And it wasn't until I had that coming to Jesus moment. I analyzed all those observations. I used that data to help me become unstuck. And then all of a sudden, the game changed. And I started showing up on social, and I wasn't going on my stories and going, I'm so stuck. This sucks so bad. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to really try hard. I waited till I was past that, until I was coming up with solutions, until I was showing up as my best self again. And then I was telling everyone on social, I was stuck. I was in a funk. And I did that for like 5 or 6 consecutive days. Guys, I will tell you, people were reaching out to me. Coaches were reaching out to me and being like, oh, thank God. Someone else is stuck too. You know, it's thank you for being honest and vulnerable. And then other people were like, oh, I see how you work through a struggle. I want more information. And so now I have conversations going again, and it's wonderful. So if you can use your struggle for better and share it with your followers and your coaches and your challengers, you can use it for good. So next one, number 2, do more things that bring you joy, that energize you, and that excite you. I know we don't have enough time in the day, but just hear me out. If you're feeling burnt out, look at it like this. What if burnt out doesn't mean that you're doing too much, but that you're not doing enough of the things that make you feel energized mentally, that make you feel joy, that make you feel excited? And I think that's where I was last month. I felt burnt out, but it's not like I was doing 3,000 things that I could barely, get to sleep at night. It was that I had lost doing the things that brought me joy, that totally energized me. And once I started doing those things again, the game changed. So I want you, after this call or tomorrow morning, is to make a list of, think of the last time that you were totally hyped up. You were so motivated, so excited, so inspired. Maybe it was after Summit. Maybe it was, after some retreat. Maybe it was after you got together with challengers that were local. Think about in your business, when were you totally fired up about all the things? And what was it that got you into that mindset I want you to make a list of those things. And then I want you to think of the daily things that bring you joy on the daily, the things that energize you daily, the things that get you excited on the daily, because not everything can be a big event or a big, hoopla, but what are the daily little tiny minute things that do bring you joy that maybe you might have lost or you're not making time for? Now, I want you to schedule those things into either the daily or your weekly routine. And as for the big things, so maybe you were totally energized after Summit. I want you to think about what was it during some Summit that energized you and how can you recreate it now? Number 3, I lost this last month and I feel so much better that I've got it back now. Morning routine is critical. And you see all the girls that are on the virtual gym in the morning, they know where it's at. They know where it's at. They start their day with that. They start their day probably with, praying over their business and affirmations and personal development, looking at your goals, thinking about your mission statement for your business. If you're not going to rewrite the mission statement every day, at least read it out loud to yourself. For me personally, and I know some other girls on the team too, morning dance parties are huge. And I know it sounds silly and, I don't dance and I can barely open my eyes with toothpicks in the morning to get downstairs. But I'm telling you, if you force yourself to put on a song that hypes you up usually at like noon or 1 in the afternoon, try playing it at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. I'm telling you, it is a game changer. So dance for that whole song. Force yourself to dance for that whole song. And then go, make your ENERGIZE and then go work out. Also think about in the morning is something that you every single thing that you eat sends a message to your body. It either sends a message to your body that, ooh, this is good, we're going to run well today, or, ooh, this is crap, you're going to feel like crap all day. So think about every piece of food you put in your mouth as a message to your body. What kind of message do you want to send to your body first thing in the morning? How you start your day can set the tone for how your day is going to go. Number 4, all right, all of these things can either help you or they can hurt you. And I know you hear this all the time, but what you tell yourself matters big time. And I got into that rut last month because of things I was telling myself versus not telling myself. So think about the affirmations you're telling yourself. And then you might think, oh gosh, I really don't have any affirmations. Well, your job today or tomorrow is to actually Google about affirmations. That's how I started when I started coaching, because I really didn't have any affirmations of my own. And so I want you to have affirmations, and I want you to actually print them out and put them on your mirror in your bathroom. So it's the first thing you read when you wake up in the morning. My husband thinks that our bathroom mirror is like my bulletin board. It is. I've got things all along the left side, but they're important things that I like to read first thing in the morning before I even step foot downstairs. Your vision and your goals, are they in front of you at all times? Do you have a gratitude journal? Are you giving thanks first thing in the morning, thinking about your blessings? Also, I want you, and I'm going to talk about this later, but you've got to tell yourself every morning, you can do hard things, or I can do hard things. I know it sounds silly, but it really does work. I want you to set reminders on your phone. I started doing this last year and it seemed silly at first, but now I live for it. And my team knows if they reach out to me and they're like, oh, I feel X, Y, or Z. I'm like, all right, time to set a reminder on your phone, because you need to be reminded constantly of who you're going to be and who you're working towards being, because we are going to act as if. And on my phone, every single stinking hour, a reminder comes up on my phone and my watch that says, I am the leader of a 5-star elite team. And I know it sounds goofy and silly and ridiculous, and only time will tell how the year plays out, but I will continue to tell myself until that becomes a reality. So what you consume, y'all, I know we all have shows that we watch and things on Netflix that we want to binge and stuff, but there comes a point where TV, it's just too much. So turn off if you feel like you're stuck, TV just keeps you stuck. So I suggest turning off that TV, putting down your phone and digging into some PD, whether you're listening to a podcast, whether you're reading PD, or whether you're watching TED Talks. Do something that's going to inspire you positively. Look for podcasts, not just any podcasts, but podcasts that are going to make you level up. And I spelled that very wrong. Think about your physical surroundings as well. I know this sounds crazy. My sister comes to my house. She's like, God, do you have enough words in this house? But I just like reminders everywhere for my whole family. But you can have a wallpaper on your phone with a positive message. My computer screensaver, whenever it goes to the screensaver, it says you can do hard things. We have over there motivation station, and it's got a few phrases, and I flip a couple different cards per day for all of us to be able to see. Fill your house everywhere with positive thoughts. Motivational cards, affirmation cards, graphic t-shirts. Y'all know I love those. Write on your bathroom mirror. Leave notes where you can see them on your kitchen cabinets. Anywhere you need that reminder, put it there. Put it in the dash on your car too. And lastly, who you surround yourself with. Guys, lean into this team. You have an automatic family here where we're all trying to do the same kinds of things. Lean into the team, make the team calls a priority, jump on that virtual Zoom in the morning. There is nothing like, especially if I've been out of the game, which I was for morning, getting back on that virtual gym in the morning and seeing all those women busting their butts to work on themselves and show themselves how much they do love themselves. It's amazing. I highly recommend getting on there at least a couple times a week. Attend a live power hour. It feels so good to see all these other coaches working during their lunch hour or working at night or working earlier in the morning, working on their coach business for an hour. If you have people in your circle that are bringing you down, I know sometimes we can't choose to just walk away from them, especially if they're family, but find a way to make some distance for yourself so that you can work on you. Number 5, have big dreams and vision. I'm not talking anything about this because you can go back and watch my training from last month on the 18th called Future Pacing. If you have not filled out the Future Pacing yet, I highly, highly recommend watching that training while you're filling it out and then send it to your upline. Number 6. So where are you going? So after you future pace, you know exactly where you're headed. You've got to keep your goals in front of you at all times. You heard me talk about the Post-it goals and your laser focus goal that I keep on my computer on the right and the left of the little mouse pad in the middle, the little touch pad or whatever. But one that's on the one side is my quarterly goals. And that was my monthly sales, my monthly recruiting goal, my quarterly rank advancement goal, and the income that I want. And I think about my weekly average because some months have 5 paychecks and some only have 4. So I don't like to say how much I'm going to make over the month. I like to break it down into weeks. And then my laser, so I change that every single quarter. My laser focus goal can either be very specific to the week or specific to the month. So last month, for instance, I was really focused on recruiting. I really wanted to start adding more coaches to my team. So that's what I had over there. And I had numbers and I had to cross them off as I started getting closer and closer to my goal. Have a word of the year. I know, I'm sure most coaches, we don't have resolution. You don't have a resolution. We know that those are out because they're usually out by, week 2 of January. But a word of the year has changed the game for me. I've done this now for 12 years. And you don't have to wait until 2022 to pick your word of the year. Why not pick a word of the year and use it for all of November and all of December, plus start brainstorming so that you have a word of the year for heading into 2023. And what I do is every year on January 1st in my calendar, it's on repeat. It just says word of the year. And all year when I'm thinking about words for next year, I go to January 1st of the next year and I put my brainstorming list and I have every single word I've ever had in the notes section of that event on my phone. So I can always go back and see every word that I've ever had. But it also keeps my brainstorming list so that when it does approach the new year, I already have my list and I can narrow down and decide what word speaks to me. I actually have a training on word of the year, but I'm not doing it now. But a great book by John Gordon is called One Word That Will Change Your Life. It's a super quick read. Highly recommend it. He breaks it down into steps on how you can pick your word of the year. And then the whole point of word of the year is that you not only pick it, but you live every facet of your life through that word. So it's not just in your coaching business. It's not just with your own wellness. It's through every avenue of your life. So after I pick my word of the year, you'll see here, it's actually behind me too. This is the families, all my kids, they have to sit and listen to my training every year over Christmas break. And they all pick they journal and they do everything that I have them do through this training. And then they pick their word of the year. And then my husband makes this for us every single year. But this year and last year, I have them on bowls. So whenever I have my Recover pudding, it's always in my bowl for my word of the year. I always have my sign with my word of the year. All my kids have their signs with their word of the year on them. I have a necklace engraved. I've got a ring engraved. Like, I don't know what's going to happen 20 years from now. We have a lot of words on things, but I put it everywhere so that you could ask me in a dead sleep, what's your word of the year? And I will tell you in a heartbeat, it is abundance. Number 8, I know this sounds silly and goofy and ridiculous, but I am telling you, I have actually had people write me on my stories after I've done some little hype video of some kind of gear. And they're like, I just want to join you for all the fun gear that you wear. So it does do something. It does give people that emotion or that feeling of excitement or newness. So make hype gear. And if you don't have a team under you, you're a team of one, start the freaking team and start with your first little piece of gear. You can find people on Etsy who will make something for you and just make one of it. So you don't be like, I have to wait till I have a team to open up some team shop. You don't have to. You can make it right now. And I'm going to talk more about team names in a minute. Also, if you see there, it says founding coach. So that's not just mine. That's every single coach on my team. So for the first year and a half since I signed up my first working coach, who was Erica, we've been calling it our founding time. So any coach that signs up through December 31st of this year is considered a founding coach of Impact Nation. There's no rules anywhere. I just set the rules. I actually had a conversation with Jessica about it. And she was like, why would you cut it off in the summertime? Just give it the rest of the year. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And so in our team shop, there's certain tank tops that you can get if you're a coach, and it says founding coach on the back. I think it's pretty cool and it's pretty fun. And it gives a little bit of special, it makes your coaches feel special that they're a part of the beginning of this team and its creation. But I also do hype shirts for Team Cup, as you see here. And we have hype shirts for our challengers. Like oh my gosh, our challengers are all Impact Nationed out. They are our wellness warriors, but they know they are an Impact Nation wellness warrior, and they all have their gear, and they wear it every Thursday. We all wear our Impact Nation gear, and I love a good cup too with a decal on it. Number 9, create your future team and get excited about it. I will never forget sitting on a call with my accountability partner, Jenny, at the time. And I was like, oh gosh, I feel like I want to have my own team, but I can't think of a name. It took me 2.5 months of nonstop brainstorming and just dumping on this notebook page different names that I had. And I knew I wanted some kind of slogan to go with it to give it even more meaning. Start thinking about your team name. It's never too early. Even if you're not ready to sign your first coach, maybe after you think of a team name, you might be excited to start your own team. So, as just like in Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. And I will tell you, it changed the game when I finally came to this revelation of what I wanted my team name to be and what I wanted our slogan to be, live life on purpose. And it started happening for me, and it started happening for our team. And then you're going to talk about your team as if you already have 5,000 people on your team. You're going to talk about that team like it's gigantic. And if you just want to own the name of your upline's team, that's fine too. So maybe if your team name, if your team upline is Team VIP, then own it like it's yours. Nobody on social knows if you started Team VIP or if you signed up and Team VIP already existed. Just say my team, my team, my team, and act like you've got 5,000 people on it. Number 10, make up a challenge yourself. We always wait for like the next promotion that Beachbody is going to put out, or we might wait for like our upline to run some kind of challenge or some kind of thing that you can earn in terms of going to a retreat or a getaway or something. Y'all, do not wait for the next challenge to be given to you. Start the dang challenge yourself. So when I feel like I'm in a slump, that's when I'm like, all right, there's going to be a challenge and it's going right to my challengers, because that means I'm going to have to do it right alongside them. Or, all right, I'm doing this with my team. Let's do some kind of challenge. Let's get going. In my challenge group, or in our challenge group, we try and do a challenge the third week of every single month. But you can also make a challenge for yourself and then invite other coaches to do it with you. Like, do not wait. We even did a challenge for challengers who were like our hardcore lifers, and we did a 90 all in. So it was a separate bod group. They were so hyped up the first month. I was like, oh gosh, how am I going to make it for 90 days? Like, what was I thinking? So in month 2, I'm like, how am I going to get them hyped up? I'm like, all right, we're doing tank tops. So we got 90 all in tanks, and they wore them every single Monday to remind them that they can do hard things, and they're going to start this week off right. And so you just have to find ways to keep yourself motivated. But if you're motivating others, it helps you as well. All right, y'all know I like music. Number 11, you gotta create a hype list. And no, this cannot be your playlist that you play during power hours or your playlist that you play in the car with your kids. This has to be like your, I'm not gonna curse right now, but it has to be your like, oh shit, like this is my jam. Like this is not just played all the time. This is your, it's going down playlist, right? So like, I save these songs for those mornings where I'm like, oh, like I don't feel like doing this. Like I don't feel like doing any parts of this. And usually there's some gangster rap on there, but I'm from Jersey. That's how it is. But you need that playlist that you call your, whatever you call it, hype me up, whatever you want to call it. But it's special. It's unique. I'm not playing it during power hours, and I'm not playing it. My husband's always like, get this off. That's when you know it's really good. And you need to, it can't be any songs where you're like, oh, I like this. I think I'm going to add this. No, this has to be you're bouncing off the ceilings when you're listening to this. Number 12. Okay. When you're in one of those moments where you're like, yes, I'm crushing it. I am winning at life, whatever it is, you need to pause. Get your voice memo app out on your phone and record yourself. And what you're going to do is you're going to talk to yourself. You're going to talk to your low point self. You're going to give your low point self pep talk. That pep talk when you're feeling totally stuck, when you're on that high, that's when you're going to talk to her. And you're going to save them so that you can play them back for yourself. And if you don't know where the voice memos are, just record yourself and then make a photo album of that. Number 13, guys, do not buy into, and I'm like a science experiment for this, do not buy into, this is typically a slow season talk or thoughts that you hear from other coaches, because your actions tend to follow that. So my whole first year in coaching, I had no idea slow seasons, fast seasons. I just thought every month everybody wanted to join. It didn't matter what month it was. They were all going to sign up because they all wanted to get healthy. And so I went back because I love numbers, and I looked back at my numbers from last year. Y'all, Success Club 40 in December. And I was like, crap. And like Success Club 36 in October. And I was like, ooh, this year I've totally taken on the mindset, this is a slower month. Like my actions totally played out according to me telling myself that this was a slow month. Our mind can be very powerful in how we show up for ourselves and how we show up for our businesses. Do not allow that to enter your mind. And so I've said for November and December, okay, these are going to be my highest months the whole year, because I need to prove to myself that in slower months, I can go all in. Number 14, you got to be other people's hype girl. So whether it's your team or it's a fellow teammate or it's someone in your family, fill other people's cups and it's going to fill yours. Send, a card to somebody with their favorite candy. Send a text to someone that you're grateful for. Check in on your upline leader. See how she's doing and tell her how amazing she is. Send hype mail. I was on 2 different teams, and I was on one team, my husband was on the other. And I sent gifts to them, but it fired me up to get all these gifts, these little boxes together for them. It totally made my day to send those out. And then I kept checking to see when everyone's was arriving. Like, that excites me. I love that. Try it. I guarantee it's going to make you feel good. Uh-oh, now it's not moving. Hold on. Number 15. Save testimonials. And I don't mean that you have to reach out to people and say, can you please write me a testimonial? Although you can. Oh, it went past it. All I mean is, I know you get messages that are like, I just put on pants I haven't worn since last year, or I just put on pants I haven't worn since before kids. Y'all, those are testimonies. Screenshot those and save them in a photo album so that when you're having one of those low point moments, you can kick your own booty and get into that folder and read all the amazing things that you have done and helped people to do. Number 16. You need to believe that you can do hard things. I know it sounds so silly, but it's so very true. Do you truly believe that you can do hard shit? I don't know. Or are limiting beliefs standing in your way? Like you think, yeah, I'm really going to go for that. Like, I will be honest with you. I'm like, yep, I'm going to totally go for a 2-star. And then I'm like, like, I don't know if this year I'm cut out for that. Like maybe like next year. It just feels better to just say next year. And then I'm like, no, we can do this. We can do this. We can do hard things. It's up to you to create momentum. So if you're stuck right now, right? So you're at the bottom of a hill and you've got a rock and you've got to push that rock up that hill. When you first start, it's going to be hard. You're starting from not moving, you're stuck. You're starting at the bottom. But once you start to push that rock up the hill again, from not moving to actually pushing it, it's going to get rolling and you're going to feel consistency. That is you creating your own momentum. You cannot depend on anybody else to create your momentum. You have got to create your own momentum. You've got to be leaning into and loving your own journey. You have to be. Guys, people want to be around the hype girl. I will tell you point blank, no one wanted to be around me last month. Nobody wanted to be around me last month when I was in my own, you know what. And now that I'm back at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, conversations are happening. My list is growing again. I'm telling you, it's magical. It is magical, but you got to lean in. And so lastly, I'm going to give you an analogy. And I heard this on a podcast, Glennon Doyle's podcast her sister was on, and I loved this analogy. She said, to make fire, you need fuel with heat and oxygen. The thing is, in life, if our life is like this, is like the fire, we don't give ourselves heat or air a lot of the times, which is usually really relates to time and space for our own lives, not anybody else's lives, not our husbands, not our kids, not the people we work with, not coaching, not our challengers, no one, just us all by ourselves. We never give ourselves enough time or space to live our life. And then when that happens, our fire, we start to smolder with bitterness and resentment for all the other things that we do for all the other people. Y'all raise your hand if you've had those moments where you're like, if I have to cook one more dang dinner for these kids and they're throwing half of it away, right? And then you're bitter about it because it's always doing for everyone else. So all you get is smoke and no fire. So you have to go out and get heat and oxygen for yourself to surround your own fuel. So I asked on the team page, if you look at this, I can't even believe this. So I asked on the team page, all the things that you do in life outside of your own health and outside of your coaching business to keep all the balls in the air. This list is crazy. It's a lot. It's a lot. You get creative. Look at that list. You all get creative with how to make all those things happen and to keep all those things continuing to go. Not just start happening, but continue to go and go and go and go. So when you hear someone say, or you've even said it yourself, I know I've said it myself, oh, I'm doing the best that I can. The best usually means you're not making enough room for you to live your own life. You're just surviving to help everyone else end their lives. You have to get super intentional with making time to give yourself heat, fuel, and air, because nobody else can light up your own life except for you. So I'm going to challenge you all to share ways that you're hyping yourself up on social. Tag as many teammates as you can. In stories, I think it's 10 people. And then I also want you to screenshot it and put it into Team VIP all week. And I want to see them. I'll send somebody a prize at the end of the week, but I want to see how people are hyping themselves up, not just tomorrow, all week till next Sunday. I want to see how you're hyping yourself up, because guys, it's time to be your own hype girl. That's it.
So good, Angela. Like, so many tangible things, and I'm pretty sure everybody on here can say they've felt stuck at one point or another. And sometimes we just stay in our own little hole and we think, oh, it's just us. I'm the only one that's stuck. But thank you for just being vulnerable and sharing like where you were last month and then what you did to get out of it. Like, I took a lot of screenshots. So if you wouldn't mind sharing the slides in the event page, that would be super awesome too. But thank you so much. I loved it. Does anybody have any questions for Angela before we hop off real quick? Now's the time to ask her. And I'm excited to see how everybody's going to hype themselves up. I already know for me, I'm going to be wearing neon because bright colors hype me up. So tomorrow I will be in some shade of neon.
There you go.
No, just everyone saying awesome, amazing, so good. Thank you. Saving this call. Super, super good, Angela. Thank you. I feel like we needed this. So
yeah, I forgot one thing to say, and it probably was in my pages of notes, but I've had a couple people ask me, how am I getting affirmations on my watch? It's an app called I Am. It's so good. And you can set it to tell you how many times a day you want affirmations. I am obsessed with it. I'm like, oh, this is another good one. And I just say it out loud to myself, but they're so good. And if they're really, really good, I'm like, I got to take a picture of this. But they're so good. And they also come up on my phone. So then I get reminders there as well. And the other thing I forgot to share is use your alarm on your phone to remind you of how amazing you are. I know that sounds silly, but or to remind you of the things you need to stop and pause and think about throughout your day. Brendan Burchard also says, pick different doorways so that when you walk through doorways, you have to stop and tell yourself something. So if you want to work on saying you can do hard things or I can do hard things, every time you walk through an opening in your house, you have to stop and say, I can do hard things. I know it sounds crazy, but you can build brand new neural pathways in your brain. You can literally train your brain to think what you want it to think. So I forgot to say those.
love it. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Do we have any other announcements? I think we're good for the week. Awesome. Okay. Well, y'all have a fabulous week, and I'm excited to see all the ways in which you are hyping yourself up because I'm sure we can share ideas with each other. All right. Bye, y'all. Have a great night.